Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, September 9th, and we're looking at Window Trader's market profile of SPY IWM and Triple Qs, and a very disappointing close to today for all of us. Let's start with the Triple Qs. Triple Qs took out yesterday's high, only to come back inside the day's range. They go out with a double distribution day. And a price probe. So they price probe in the last minute of the day. Double distribution day with a set of single prints, and G is an afternoon rally high. Russell had a chance for a trend day up. They had two sets of single prints. They all get filled. They go out with basically nothing. They have just a day's high and low. Is no afternoon pullback. They're only 8 wide. And they had gotten above inside last week's range again, only to fall back out of it. Now, what happened with us today? Well, after opening with unchanged value and then going overlapping to higher, we closed with unchanged again as we overlap both sides of yesterday. But that's the least of the bull's problems. We had a chance for a trend day up. Not only did they give that up, we go out with a double distribution day to the downside. We didn't price probe. We almost did, but we didn't. And we almost had an outside day down, which we didn't. Saved by the bell. So, we dipped into those single prints from the 27th for the second time. Remember, I've talked about this, like the chicken pecking you to death. You know, if you keep letting it happen, at some point it's just going to break through. Well, the fact that we just closed near the lows has to have some buyer's concern. We went from down in the daily to balance when we took out yesterday's high. We're still in balance, but again, a pretty ugly finish as we go out with a double distribution below the 6-day balance now by a pretty good margin and below last week's low. So now the line in the sand. Remember we were talking about yesterday's B's low, the line in the sand? Well, it looked like the buyers had won it in A, B, and C. We had higher value. We were one-time framing up. The buyers on my checklist had a 6-0 lead early. They gave it all back and more as the sellers end up with a 4-3 win on the checklist. That's rare. So we're seeing a couple of things now that we haven't seen in a while. That's getting distance when we take out lows like we did yesterday taking out A's low. And again today when we took out F and G's low. We haven't seen that in a while. We have a trend day holding on the downside. Again, we haven't seen that. We're making new lows right now in the after hours for today. So maybe the winds are changing a little bit. The monthly is still very healthy, but the weekly is balanced and the daily is balanced. So it's going to be interesting. What single prints get filled tomorrow? Today's or the ones from August 27th? I had a good day trading today, and I'll tell you, my mindset has to change a little bit because I've been so used to not looking to take shorts off those breaks of, say, A's low or G's low. And now the last couple of days, they would have paid well. And I had a very good day, but I didn't even take those. So let's go over my trades because there were a bunch of them. So I took a short in A period against yesterday's high. As soon as we got through it, I thought they might front run it, but as soon as they got through it the first time, I took a pretty sized 453 put play, and it backed off enough for me to get paid. I did it again in B when we got to the afternoon rally high from Tuesday the 7th. And that one paid me also. Those were the 454 puts. Then I started looking for longs because we were one-time framing up and had single prints, it looked like. I bought 451 calls in B that paid, and again in D, 451 calls that initially paid. And then I got out of them before I bought them around B's low, got out of them when they traded back up, and then once they started going and starting flushing pretty good, I said, no more of that. So I did nothing then. The rest of D, E, F, I didn't do anything for a while. Again, I missed the short in H because I really thought, wait, hold on, I'm sorry. I did miss the short in H because I wasn't looking at that time with overlapping a higher value and a 6-wide POC to go trend down. And this is where I'm talking about having to change back to your thinking. I mean, I used to love these days when they flush and jump on the short, but they've been burned so many times I have not been doing that of late. Well, I have to start looking for those again. I did take a size long in H the first time, basically against ENF's low, which worked, and again in J when we tested yesterday's low right below it and took another long play that worked out. So I had a good day overall. I did have 2 small losses, but I wrote L. It wasn't L. I didn't do anything after J. I'm trying to think what period that was. Actually, it might have been H. Before I took the big long down here, which paid me nicely, I might have taken 2 small longs when we first broke F and G's low because I didn't think we would go trend. But anyway, net, it turned out to be a good day. As far as destinations, on the upside, we have the single prints. They start at M's high. They get filled at F's low, 450.15, and they get filled at 45 cents, 30-cent single prints. Then we don't have anything to today's high, which is a poor high for SPY, not in the S, 452.57. And then 452.81 daily high, 453.47 daily high. And then you should have the weekly high and the pre-market all-time high. We have 4 daily highs within $1.50 something of each other. At some point, they should get hit. For the downside, we have today's low of 448.74, which is also poor for SPY. So SPY had a poor high and a poor low. Then we have those single prints. We've gotten into them twice now, yesterday and today, just barely. 448.73 get filled at 02, 447.06 daily low, 446.16 daily low, and then 445.14 weekly low and filling the gap at 443.71. 143-point gap from August 23rd. That is my ultimate destination now on the bigger picture, is that weekly low. Now, obviously, we still have to fill the single prints from the 27th. If you do that, you're going to be coming up right against the 20-day moving average. So we'll see if we get a responsive bounce the first time. But at some point, I wouldn't doubt we test that weekly low and see if we even get into that gap. And then on the charts, again, tomorrow I'll recap all 3 of these indices charts. But for now the monthly is still very healthy. But it is also only September 9th. So keep things in mind. We took out last month's high already. Now, we're still far away from last month's low, 436.10. But if this market ever decided to start selling, right, $12, $13 is not a lot to get. So just like we almost had an outside day down today, again, by no stretch of imagination am I saying that's going to happen in the monthly, but if sellers do decide to get involved, it's always something to keep in mind. But right now, it's very healthy. Weekly is a firm 3-week balance. Like I said, 445.14 is my next destination on the downside. And then on the daily, we stopped the one-time framing down, so we went from down to balance. So for now, I would call it a 2-day balance. And basically, it's today's high and today's low. Though they're showing 448.72 is my low. If that's the case, if 448.72 is my low, well, then I don't have a poor low. But I'm not sure if that's the real low or not. On the 30-minute chart, they're showing 74. But on the daily chart, they're showing 72. Very interesting. So I'll use 448.72. So if that's the case, I don't have a poor low. And I actually have a 2-cent price probe, which I'm not going to really even use. So 448.72. I'll use as yesterday's low. I hope you had a good day trading. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.